Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is Slight. Today we're going to be doing the brake pad replacement of the rear and the front. We are going to be using EBC double H sintered pads. They're pretty good. They bite pretty well. They are going to be a little bit more, I guess, aggressive or a little bit more bite to it than OEM. Now you can do it front or rear. They're two separate units on the Rebel. I'm going to start with the rear because I'm already here. You're supposed to measure the pads and see whereabouts it is. It is actually starting to stick on this side, so we're going to end up removing them anyways and inspecting them. This is going to be an 8mm here. That is the pad bolt, the pad pin. So we're going to start by removing that pin or cracking it loose anyways. Okay, so it's loose. It'll start to come out when it's further up. You're going to keep this one there. This 12mm you're going to remove. And this is just going to slide up. Now you take this pin completely out. So yeah, you can see there should be marks here. This pad is done. So it's about, I would say about 2mm. I can measure that, but you can see that it started hanging up on the one side. Now you can service them and stuff, but again, they're not expensive, right? So if you pull back on that, you can actually look at this. So there's your piston. Before we push this back, we're gonna wanna clean up everything. To do that, you use some soapy water and just a toothbrush. I have a toothbrush specifically for brakes, so that way it's not gonna be contaminated. So we're gonna do that first. Before you push this piston back in, you're gonna want to check to see how much fluid you have, because you don't wanna push it and then overflow it, right? So let's clean this up and then we'll go from there. So if you make sure that you clean it up, you'll see that it's nice and shiny. So you want to make sure that it's nice and clean. And again, before we push this back in, we're going to want to do a few things before that. So we also want to clean up in here to the actual bracket itself. And then we're going to inspect the rotor itself. So the max on this is 4mm, so we're going to measure it. It shouldn't be bad because there's no lip here. Normally what will happen is it'll squeeze down and you'll have like a scoring in there. So we're going to end up checking this anyways, and then we're going to use a Scotch-Brite just to clean up the rotor. Get all the pad material and stuff that would be on there so that it can seat properly. Factory, it's 4.8 to 5.2. Repair limit is 4mm. So again, we're gonna zero this out, and it says it's 4.84. So okay, so we're just gonna clean this up. Okay, so now that the rotor's done, we can get going on starting to clean the rest of it up. So we're gonna grab the pad pin and we're gonna clean it with emery cloth. Okay, so it's nice and clean now. Get these pads out. On these ones, they don't actually have the mark, so you're gonna have to measure it when you check it. But again, typically brake pads are about 1.5 to 2mm, and then they're done. So, all right, next step we're gonna do is we're gonna open up that reservoir. Okay, for that you're going to need a H5. And all you're going to want to do is just watch it. Okay, so I have the cap off and I have it up just a little bit, that way you can still get air through. Okay, so it's not all the way in yet, but the fluid's up. So you can see it's up all the way up to the top right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this off. We're going to take this cap off, And we're going to just dab a paper towel in here. Just get some of this off. Okay, perfect. And what I normally do is I clean this up again, just because underneath you couldn't get underneath there a little bit, and then we're going to lube up the pins and stuff. So we're going to use some True Glide. This is basically a brake lubricant designed for pins and stuff like that. Okay, so same thing with this. We're going to put some Sil Glide on the pin. And line up the pin. So we just got to make sure that these are actually in the seats. Okay. So in here, there's going to be a seat. You want to put it in there, make sure that's in, the pins are there, and then just push this down. I'm going to put this bolt through. Now, before you do that, you should really make sure that this moves still, which it does. There's some Loctite on here already. Tighten this back down. Okay, so the caliper bolt is going to be 16 foot-pounds. That. So the pin's going to be 13. So that's all tight and stuff like that. We're going to button that back up, and then we're going to seat the pads. Okay, so I did actually take some out, but it's right now it is at the top. We're going to tighten this up. Using the brake pad, or the foot brake, we're going to seat these up. Okay, so that was the rear. Now we're going to be doing the front. It's pretty much the same thing. The only difference is not an 8mm on here. It will be a 5 Allen for the pad pin. All right, so besides that, you're going to be taking both caliper bolts on this side, and we're just going to continue on to it. Okay, so that's an H5. All you'll have to do is crack it, because if not, I've seen people strip them and stuff, so just make sure that you're cracking that at least. Get a couple threads out, and then take these two 12s. So we're just going to take this out. The pads are actually not too bad on this. I'm going to still replace them just because I have the upgraded ones. And you just got to push this against the spring a bit. Okay, so we're just going to take the pads out, and same thing, we're going to clean this up. We're gonna get this rotor cleaned up. Okay, so again with this, we're gonna want to push this back. So we're gonna take a little bit out. Okay, so it's easy for me because I have tools, right? But what I'm saying is, if you actually push like on here, it takes some time, but you're gonna have to go down one and the other, and it'll kind of fight you back and forth. With this, it just kind of comes right in. It is up there, so we're gonna tighten that back down. Okay, so that's nice and clean. Now with this, we can actually put this together in here and then put it over top. So we still have to clean up the pin. Again, this is just stuff called emery cloth. So pretty much what it does is just cleans up all the gunk off there. And we're gonna lube this pin. Making sure this rotor is not any different. 4.97, so that's good. So now that they're in those collars, we're gonna put the pin in. And to do this, I gotta push down on the spring, remember? Just hand tight. Tight on these. Okay, so these are 22 foot-pounds. And then this one is 13. The last thing is you just got to seat it. Okay, and that's pretty much it. So what you're going to want to do is breaking them in, you're just going to want to use steady, constant added pressure while you're going through. So like slow it down and then constantly holding it further and further, breaking them and seating them into the rotor, and then you're good to go. That's pretty much it. That is the brake pad on the Rebel 500. If you like this channel, like and subscribe. And until next time, guys.